Like I said, it's like taking a math exam, at least for me. I knew I had to pass that class, but boy, it was a good one. Team that play hard, physical, tough, executing. One that we have the experience to schedule. We knew it would be that. Grateful to get the win, and I thought our guys did a great job of really adjusting in the second half because they do a tremendous job of playing physical without fouling, moving their feet, making you take tough shots and make shots. They're a team that normally doesn't foul. We did a great job, especially in the second half, of putting pressure on the defense, making plays, made timely threes. I thought Tilly had some big-time rebounds, and just kind of opened the game up. And though he didn't score, I thought Drew Buggs did a tremendous job with his overall floor game. So great win for our guys.
Okay, questions for Coach. We'll go to Colin first.
Yeah, Coach Martin, I was going to ask you, Jeremiah, it seemed like he saved 2 or 3 balls there down the stretch in the second half that led to wide open threes from Mark Smith. Just what about his hustle on the offensive glass sparked your team tonight?
Oh, it was relentless, and we need that, because he's not always going to get smooth looks because of how he's defending guys, posting and trapping and all those things, but just kept balls alive because he's a physical presence, and he's one of the main reasons why the bigs had so many fouls, just constantly putting pressure on him. And like we say to him, you might not get the ball, but you keep them alive, keep balls alive, and all the guys have to do a better job of making themselves available. So while he has 2 or 3 on him, they got to clean those balls up.
Ben Arnett.
Coach, you mentioned big-time second-half adjustments. And in your mind, what was the biggest adjustment that helped turn things around there in the second half?
Just really settle down. We were stagnant in the first half. Really wasn't moving the ball. And I think we got caught up, and it's more me than the guys. We got caught up in, because of the starters in the post, we got caught up in trying to get the ball inside the Tilly. So now guys are standing around, and that's not good. So that one was on me, and I think the guys just settled in the second half, just playing basketball.
Gabe Diarmond.
Yeah, Cuonzo, just that sequence where I think Jeremiah had 4 points, 4 rebounds, and just kind of the emotion he was playing with. I mean, is that something that maybe in the past you don't see out of him after kind of a slower first half?
I think so. I mean, just the maturity of a basketball player, but again, you get to a point where it's about winning basketball games, and he did a great job of just keeping balls alive. He knew they would double him the whole night when he got the ball inside, so that part was understood. I think sometimes that caused him to be a little passive when he know the double's coming, and he's more focused on making passes as opposed to being aggressive. And, just keeping him alive. But if he's not scoring the ball, continue to try to get rebounds, continue to try to make plays. I thought he did a great job of setting those ball screens, diving to the rim, and putting pressure, because when he dives, somebody has to go with him because they do a great job of their bigs trapping and hedging ball screens. Well, somebody got to get on the backside to try to stop Tilly.
Dave Matter.
Cuonzo, about midway through the second half when Drew got those 2 quick fouls, he had 3. You kept him on the floor. What's the decision there? Because he seemed to kind of ignite that little run you went on there.
He's a mature basketball player. He understands. Just lock in. And the guy he was defending, McGee, can really shoot the ball, constant movement. So that's not an easy assignment at all. And he embraced it. And he's an elite defender. You look at McGee, 16-plus points a game. Drew held him, I think, with 4 or 5 points. That's high level, and that's not an easy thing when you run off those screens, shoot deep shots. I trust he'll do the right things because he's an intelligent player.
Suuchi?
Because it seemed like, especially early in that first half, when Liberty kind of built that lead, they slowed you down a lot, just making guys play a little bit half court. Just what did you guys do maybe to start running and getting kind of, even though it's half fast breaks off made basket?
I'm not sure the start of it. Again, I got to say part of it, the focus was trying to get Tilly the ball, but with the flow of offense. But I just thought it was too much standing around one-on-one play and not really moving the ball. And then once we settle and start moving the ball, play the way we know how to play. But they're also a team. They don't crash the offensive glass unless something's obvious. So they're gonna get back. So you have to be able to score in the half court and run your half court offense, which that is fine because you got to be able to do that. But once we start to speed the game up and move the ball from side to side, which one of the main things we talk about, then that game started to flow for us.
Jack Sobel.
Cuonzo, Mark hit that 3 at the end of the first half. I think there were 5 or 6 seconds left. That was the first 3 he made all game. What did that mean to you guys to end the first half on a good note there?
It was good. We talked about, I think maybe at the 4-minute mark, let's go into the half leading, but that didn't happen. But I thought we played aggressively. Thought the guys were attacking downhill, making the next plays. Then we did a better job of settling in on the defense side of the ball because we had a sequence there where they had 2 wide open threes. And, you know, that type of stuff can't happen, man, not against a team like that.
Andy Humphrey.
Cuonzo, I know it's a battle you want to win every game, but it seemed y'all really dominated on the boards with a plus 16 margin there. Was there any extra emphasis on that, or was it just a product of a mismatch, or what do you think those do to tonight?
Well, I think something has to give because their 2 starters are 6'7", 220 pounds. And with Jeremiah Tillman and Kobe, something has to give because on the flip side, for a big guy like Jeremiah Tillman, having to defend four men that pick and pop, that's a hard thing to do, to stop the ball off a ball screen, then to try to recover to your guy. It puts you in scramble situations. So what we said, we have to make them go to the bench and make a decision. That means we crash in the glass or they get in the foul trouble. But they can't. It can't be we're not aggressively rebounding the ball, or Tillman not getting the ball inside and scoring, and they doing all the scoring. Then we're at a disadvantage. Something has to give at some point.
Mike Reeves.
Coach, a lot of times you can learn a lot about your team when you do face adversity. And through the first 3, you had some, but tonight probably more than any of those. Does that tell you a lot more about your team whenever they come back and they do what they did, especially towards the end of the first half and into the second half?
No question. But the truth of the matter, and I say this with all due respect, we felt like this would be the one. You know, when you talk, if you did pick out of those 4, not necessarily talent, you know, everybody's talented, but just how they play. And when you got 5 guys that can make shots from the perimeter, execute the offense, the back cuts, the Princeton offense, motion off, that's a lot of stuff. We don't have 2 or 3 days prep, turn around, and just try to get prepared for it. Even the preparation is not good enough. You got to go through it. And then when you see it live, you get a feel for it. But just in how they play, we felt like this would be the one that, even though it's at home, it would be a tough one.
Suuchi.
Because I know you mentioned Drew a little bit, even though he didn't score, just how much of a luxury is that third ball handler you can kind of bring off the bench and everything?
Oh, man. It's a blessing. When I look at the stats, I don't care about whether he scored or not. It's a blessing. I'll just have him on the floor. I mean, just his ability to lead, to communicate things, you know, selfless player, and just trying to make plays. I mean, in the huddle, hey, coach, what about this? I see this, see that. That's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And he's committed to this program, so he's a part of our family. Just it's a blessing to have him because of whether he playing 5 minutes, 25 minutes, he's the same way.
Dave Matter.
Cuonzo, was tonight a case where X just pressing a little bit too much with some of the turnovers? Did you feel like?
I just think you have to settle in. And I think that's been X really starting the first 4 games. Just got to settle in and play. Just let the game come to you. Let it flow because he's a talented player. He's a quick player, but he has to let it flow. And I think part of that, everybody kind of got a little stagnant, just kind of waiting and standing. Man, just let it come to him because he's so fast he can get to the rim on anybody. But as he flow and that game come to him, then everything opens up.
Mason.
Cuonzo, even though the team was trailing in the first half there, Mitchell Smith, when he was on the floor, the team was 10 points better. What was Mitchell doing on the defensive end in that first half that sort of helped the team close the gap there?
He does a lot of things. And like I said, you know, Mitchell Smith to me is like the credit card. You can't leave home without it. And I say that with all sincerity. He's that type of guy. He and Drew Buggs is not necessarily what you see on the stat sheet. You can tell when they're on the floor how they play in the game. And Mitchell Smith, one of those guys, you got to have him because he can defend multiple guys. He can make plays, get a big rebound, make a big shot. Does a lot of things, you know, he as well as, you know, Mark and Drew Smith, those guys are fighting for Defensive Player of the Year. When you have 3 guys that's hungry for that type of award, it's impressive. But Mitch does so because you can plug him in so many areas. You can put him in a lot of different places, and he's a guy with a high IQ, so he understands, he feels it, and he knows. He's been around us, so he knows what's going
on. Corte.
Hey, Coach. What changed from the first half after Liberty had some success from deep and to the second half when they were 2 for 13?
Just settle down. You know, oftentimes you play teams and you you watch it on film, then you get up close, that constant movement. And I have to watch film to be specific on some of this, but when you're scrambling and moving, you got your big, like there's a ball screen, and your big guy in that ball screen. Now you have two guys on one ball, which is something we want to do. You have two guys on one ball, meaning the big on the ball and the ball handler. Now somebody's open. Well, when you got five guys that can make shots, that put a lot of stress on your defense. So you got to find a way to stop that ball as fast as you can. And sometimes you're going to give up something. That's part of the game. But just really selling. Like I know two of them for sure. We lost guys. That's 6 points right there. Now I have to watch film to tell you exactly what happened, but those type of things can happen because you'll pay for those, and sometimes you won't be able to bounce back.
Joel?
Hey, Coach. We kind of talked about Jeremiah Tillman and how big he was on the boards, but a lot of times this season he's seeing doubles and a lot of pressure inside. But a couple times in that game, he made a couple passes out the post that I thought he set up a couple guys on the outside. How pivotal, has it been to, see his playmaking, and how much of a point have you made it this season?
Oh, it's good. Now, he's seen him since he's been in his uniform, so and every year he's grown in a double. And I think the next part, because he can make the decision out of him, I just think the next part for him is, one, knowing that it's coming, but sometimes being aggressive, make a play before it comes, not selling to let it get to you and then make a play. Because he's done a great job of, when he received the double now, to make sound decisions. Well, now sometimes be aggressive and get to the middle of the floor and make a play, put pressure on that defense. But, it's still a work in progress, but the decision maker certainly has gotten better.
Dave Matter? Dave Matter's done. Okay. Corte?
Sorry, I need to lower my hand.
Jack Sobel?
Coach, near the end of the game, you had that run where I think it was the Tillman dunk, the Mark Smith 3, and the Pinson layup. What did you just see what you like from your team during that stretch to kind of put the game away?
Just competing, playing basketball, being aggressive. And like I tell our guys, and we did a good job field goal percentage, making shots. Whether or not we making shots, we have to be consistent on the defensive side of the ball. They have to earn baskets. We can't give away anything. They have to earn every basket. We have to take pride in defending individually, and then not necessarily relying on your teammates, but understanding that help might be there. But individual defense and taking pride, and then we get the ball pushing and be aggressive. I thought we probably missed, 5 or 6 layups we should have made. We gotta have those because you don't get those back. And but I like the way our guys kept their foot on the pedal in the second half.
Last question for Coach Martin. Joel, if you still have your hand raised.
Yeah, so Pinson has struggled shooting from deep this season, but the past couple of games, he's found his way in other areas, dishing out assists, had 7 rebounds tonight. Do you make it a point for him to, try to outplay in the other areas of his game, or does he kind of do that himself?
I mean, he had 7 rebounds, so that part was good. No, as long as he's shooting good shots, man, you got to play the game. I mean, you don't want to be sitting there thinking, should I shoot this shot, good shot, bad shot? I mean, I think from the 3-point shot for him, just catch and shoot threes, And after that, drive and make plays. It's basketball. He knows what to do out there. I thought he had a little too much pastry on some of those finishes in the end instead of just, laying them up and finish. I thought he had the pastry where he probably missed 2 or 3 of them he should have had. But other than that, no, he got to play his game.
Coach, we'll let you go. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.